Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to discuss a brand new Terminid mission that involves vehicles. There's also a new missile stratagem and enemy that we will be covering. We'll also take a look at the community manager's response to the upcoming update and much more. If you guys have yet to see my previous video, check it out because Sony has recently removed 5 regions. There's also, a lot more that I talk about in that video. If you guys do find this video informative, please give it a thumbs up by clicking the button below the video. Let's start off by taking a look at the community manager's response to the next update. There's a player who asked, please just revert the changes and worry about tweaking later. As a low-level solo player, the game is beyond unfun. It's infuriating. I've uninstalled the game, and the longer this takes to fix, the more likely I will never reinstall. Then Twinbeard replied to this user by saying, hi, just to clarify, the possible minor tweaks to patrols and spawn rate will not affect when we implement the changes, so you don't have to worry about that. There's also another ex-user who essentially thanked Twinbeard and the team for reverting back to the changes, and the community manager responded with, thanks, it hasn't been implemented yet, but since the change we did turn out to be broken, reverting is the best choice right now regardless. If you're curious about the next update, there won't be a patch released this week, however we might expect something next week. A few files have been updated on SteamDB, so the developers are definitely cooking up a patch. The next member here asked about communication, and this is what Twinbeard had to say in response. Hi, we very much want to have in-game comms, dev, players, with all the possibilities it would bring in terms of both informing and pulling a substantial large portion of the player base. I hope we will be able to make a system like that in the future, but I can't make any promises. Last but not least, we have this question right here by this user who asked essentially about bows, arrows, melee weapons, and all that. This user says, sorry for the ping again, but I really want to know your thoughts. At Twinbeard, this is a far-fetched question, but if there are possible melee weapons coming into the game, will there be a possibility for bows and arrows to also be a thing? Then Twinbeard replied with, I have no idea. Overall, I'd say most weapons are at least plausible, and no, that doesn't mean we'll have lightsabers or trebuchets. We're now going to take a look at a newly leaked Terminid mission that involves driving a vehicle and taking it to a drop-off point. To summon it, this won't be a stratagem at all if you were expecting it to be. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, it's not going to be possible. Setting that aside, there's a leaked JSON file here that reveals a brand new Terminid mission. The description can be found right here. Destroy mutated Terminid eggs, deliver cargo to the pickup front, welcome new SE user to the Voragon Systems genetic military terminal, seize the civilian satellite towers, deactivate corrupted battery silos, joint operation, retrieve the chemicals, final assault available, and last but not least we have this right here which says drive vehicle to the drop-off location. Now the vehicle that is mentioned in the description could very well be the new rover vehicle that was discovered by Iron Sights. There's also another JSON file here that has a description about a different automaton, and for those who have played Helldivers 1 you might recall this enemy, and that's going to be the Automaton Warlord. And last but not least, there's talks about some sort of new stratagem. For example, right here it says M723 Orbital Slag Shell. I'm sure that'll be a stratagem at some point. And there's also this other stratagem here that's essentially a nuclear one, I guess. I don't know, you guys take a look at it. This right here says a tactical nuclear missile is fired from a standalone delivery system inserted into a geostationary orbit over the combat area. Retrieval of delivery system once inserted would be economically unviable, so missiles should be fired at first available opportunity. Any failure to do so will be logged out and investigated. Note, Helldivers should take caution when firing the weapon as the blast radius is significant. Surprisingly enough, there's actual footage of this stratagem. If you guys would like to check it out, let's go ahead and show it right here. But I do want to give credit to Emptiness, which is a great leaker. Shout out to him. If you guys would like to check out the Discord, I will leave a link down below. Alrighty, what we're going to do here is check out the footage. So when you do call on the stratagem, it'll fly down just like any other stratagem. You will be able to go up to it. There's only one missile as of right now. There will be a way to point this at something, but there's no object in the actual character's hand, as you can tell right here. But there is some sort of laser coming out, which is blue. Now, you can use this to target a certain area, and then once it falls down and explodes, it's a beautiful nuclear explosion there. I mean, not too crazy, but it's pretty cool. Oh, and also, if you're curious about the name of the stratagem, it's called MS-220 Missile Silo. And if you're curious about the stats, I cannot tell you what it is because as of right now, we do not know anything about it except that there's this missile and you can actually guide it to go to a certain area. This right here is essentially in its beta phase because it's not out yet, but I would like to know your thoughts on it. What do you think about it? Would you use it, or are you going to pass? So now what we're going to do is talk about some new weapons essentially. So with that being said, these could be Illuminate weapons, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. As you can tell, it says Heavy Fusion Cannon, Heavy Fusion Repeater, Fusion Assault Gun, Fusion Carbine, and last but not least, SR-005 Rocket. So yeah, if it's for the Illuminate, that will suck because man, these weapons sound insane. A fusion rifle, come on guys. With that to the side, we're now going to take a look at some brand new tanks. For example, right here at the top it says Annihilator tanks, Barrager tank, Decimate tank, and Shredder tank. So at some point, these are tanks that we might be able to use, or these might be actual, I don't know, Automaton tanks that have advanced. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but that is what I'm guessing. You guys can, chime in, let me know your thoughts down below on what you think, but that's what I'm thinking. Now, a couple of weeks ago, there was a leaker out here who released this right here, which is Forerunner Lore. This is a tank essentially that will be available at some point, and the description actually has two different ones. There's Borg Tank Turret Cannon, and then last but not least, we have K Turret Rocket Launcher. And this tank right here is the same situation with the other tanks. We do not know whether or not this is a drivable vehicle or if it's going to be a different enemy type. Moving along, now let's go ahead and check out a leak that was revealed about a month ago or so. The second leak will be a mission objective that will be a Hive Buster. This is probably one of the most intriguing objectives so far, at least from what it sounds like. Our task here is to locate an underground Hive core, which will require us to defend the spot, while the Hive Buster essentially is a drill that pierces through the Earth's crust to reach the core. Well, not the Earth's core, but the Hive core. And once it explodes, we're done and we can just move on. This information comes from a leaker named Iron Sights, and the animation was discovered by AJ. And by the way, if you're wondering, is there a description on this? Yes, there absolutely is, and it can be found right here. And it says, a drill capable of piercing the tough walls of Terminid hives and deploying a nuclear charge to collapse all tunnels. And the button combination can be found on the right side, which is left, up, down, right, down, down. This will summon the Hive Buster so that you can nuke the core, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And there's also a side objective at some point that we will be able to see, and that's called the communication relay. There's not too much to elaborate on, but yeah, that's all that I have to show. There's also something else to talk about too, to just kind of briefly go on. If you guys did not know, there's some items that have been leaked in the past that we have yet to see. There's a sniper rifle, a pistol, and it also matches one of the unreleased skins. My best guess is that it will be the next war bond or one of the next war bonds. But yeah, this stuff right here seems pretty cool to me, and I cannot wait to test a lot of this stuff out, especially the missile silo stratagem. I cannot wait to try that out, as well as the next war bonds and whatnot. Okay, last but not least, I do want to talk about one more thing here, and this is about the game in general. Are you guys burnt out, or are you guys still playing? Now, if you are still playing the game, what's motivating you? And if you're not playing it anymore, what's not motivating you? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm really interested in this. And now here's your top 3 comments from the previous video. If you would like to voice your opinion about something, comment down below and you might be featured in the next video. What we have here at number 1 is a user named Spellagrin, if I am pronouncing that right, and this user says, those are all US territories, never should have been blocked in the first place. The second comment is by a user named Earthbound Mike, and this user says, I mean, I realize it's news, but it's not worth talking about 5 places being able to purchase HD2 again. That's not even 5% of the people who got locked out. And my response to that one, by the way, is because I only brought up that news because I felt like any change is a positive change. Because in the last few days, it's been really negative in terms of, oh, this is what PSN doing, this is what Arrowhead's doing, or this is what Steam's doing. I mean, any type of positive news is good news, and that right there is positive news. There's something being changed, and yeah, I'm sure there will be more regions being changed as time goes on. And last but not least, we have this username Marcus, and he says, welcome back, divers. Now let's make up for the lost major orders. And there's your top 3 comments from the previous video. Remember, if you'd like to be featured and voice your opinion, comment down below. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I will see you guys in the next video.